podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast this week with the great Rich DeMuro filling in. This is a show that aired Saturday, November 9th, 2019 on the Premier Networks, episode 1642. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Capterra. Find the right tools to make an informed software decision for your business. Visit Capterra's free website at capterra.com/techguy. And by Plex. With Plex, you can organize and stream your personal collection of movies, TV shows, music, and photos anywhere on any device. Go to plex.tv/twit and enter the code TWIT10 to get $10 off a lifetime Plex Pass subscription. That's what I've got. This offer applies to new subscribers only.
Welcome. I'm Rich DeMuro, and this is The Tech Guy, the show that talks about everything from smartphones to computers, wearables, smart speakers, internet security, digital cameras, gaming, home theater systems, whatever else you have that plugs in, charges up, or has a chip inside, we can talk about it. My name is Rich DeMuro. I'm the tech reporter at KTLA Channel 5 in Los Angeles, filling in today for Leo Laporte, who is on vacation. Thanks so much for joining me today. Now, if you see me on TV, you might know me as Rich on Tech. We've got lots of great stuff to talk about today, including your phone calls. If you have a tech issue, you need a recommendation, or maybe it's an app you need to know something about. Maybe you just want to tell me what you love or hate about your gadgets. I am here for you. That is why I'm sitting in Leo's chair to talk technology. By the way, I also have a book. It's called 101 iPhone Tips and Tricks. Speaking of helping you out with your gadgets, this is going to help you uncover all the new features in iOS 13, plus the other cool stuff you can accomplish on your iPhone with just the stuff that is built into the iPhone. No extra apps, all the features that Apple has given you. I help you figure those out. It's called 101 iPhone Tips and Tricks. It's available right now on Amazon. And this week, wow, I was just going through all the stories. You know, I talk about technology all week long on KTLA. Come up here to talk here on the show. And it's just like there is so much stuff to talk about. This week specifically, lots of big news, including Instagram. Just kind of taking all the air out of the tech world last night with a big announcement that they are going to see what our world is like without likes. Now, likes are the social currency of Instagram. People have built careers on likes and followers and engagement and being an influencer. And now Instagram says, you know what? We're going to see if people can survive without likes. And this is something that is going to now start in the United States. They've tried it other places, don't get me wrong. They've tried it in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Ireland, Italy, Brazil. All the places where Instagram has experimented with making likes disappear. Now, let me explain how this is going to work. So likes are still a thing, and you can like a picture just like you normally have done in the past. You can double tap it. That heart will pop up for just a second, showing your love for that picture or that post. But no one else will see that you liked that picture, except the person that actually posted the picture. So I can go in on the back end and look at all the likes that my picture has gotten, but all my followers can't. All they're going to see is maybe one of their friends. It'll say like, you know, Jim and others like this picture. And that's it. It won't say how many people like this picture. CEO of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, announced this all at a Wired panel. He said, U.S. Instagram users can expect their like counts to vanish in the next week. Now, not everyone. This is going to be a select group of people. You can't choose to be in this group. You can't choose to be out of this group. But a bunch of people, all of a sudden, poof, like magic, the likes are gone. He said the idea is to depressurize Instagram, make it less of a competition, and give people more space to focus on connecting with the people they love and the things that inspire them. Also, they want to reduce anxiety and reduce social comparison. Now, I don't know if you've been in real life, but that kind of stuff happens anyway, right? I mean, haven't you compared yourself to other people your entire life? It's just now it's an easy way to measure it with likes. It became easier. I mean, in high school, you knew who was popular, who was not popular, who the cool kids were. Now with the likes, it just made it so much more apparent for everyone to know that. So here's the thing. I have a lot of thoughts on this. I see the pros, I see the cons. Now, if you're an influencer who has built an entire business on Instagram and making those followers follow you and making those likes and taking great pictures so that people like them and you see that your picture has more likes than everyone else's pictures, I understand. You're sitting there going, wait, what am I going to do? My whole business is Instagram. My whole business is being an influencer. Well, that's going to be tough for you. Maybe it's better because now you can kind of hide behind not so many likes. Because what happens is you can tell when people buy their likes on Instagram. Let's say they've got a lot of people that follow them, but yet when they post a picture, nobody likes it. Well, what happened? All those people following them are bots. And that's why you're not seeing that many likes on their pictures. Now, for teens, I think this is a great thing because can you imagine? I thank God I went through high school without having to deal with how many likes I had. Yeah, I was kind of a nerd. Come on. I mean, let's be honest. I'm hosting the Tech Guy radio show. I was a nerd in high school, so it's fine. It worked out for me. But the reality is if I had to sit there and deal with seeing some kid who had 1,000 likes on his picture and me who had 3 likes on my picture, that would be really tough as a teenager. So I get it. For teens, it kind of gets rid of the distraction. Now, are they going to find ways around this? Of course they are. Now, for regular people, you're sort of in the middle. You're not a teenager. You're not an influencer. You're just a regular person. It probably won't matter that much. Do you really care how many people like your pictures that you took in Florida? I don't know. Does it really matter? Probably not. And at the end of the day, again, remember, you can see on the back end how many people actually liked your stuff. So it's really just the forward, outward-facing likes that are kind of hidden now. And if you are an influencer, and let's say you're trying to get a free trip somewhere, you'd probably show the person that you're trying to get the free trip from or the free product from how many likes you have on the back end. So it kind of works out. Now, I put this on my Facebook page, facebook.com/richontech last night, and got a lot of responses. Lupe said, "Don't like the idea. Hitting like is a quick way to let friends and family know we've liked the picture without having to leave a comment." That makes sense. Flora said, "I think it means more now to get a comment than a like. You have to put more effort into commenting." Very true. While Paul said, "I love that the poster can see how many likes, but the public cannot. It takes away that stigma. It also helps reduce the number of so-called influencers." And I mean, influencers are a good thing. I follow influencers. I love seeing the people that are traveling the world for free. I don't care if they're getting it for free. As long as they're showing me all those cool pictures of all those cool places that I one day want to go to, I'm cool with that. Now, I don't know if you've been following Instagram, but they've been doing a lot of stuff to make Instagram sort of the Disneyland of the internet. You know, they use AI to actually filter out comments that may not be appropriate on your posts. Yeah, they started that a while ago. They also have other ways. Let's say you posted something really mean and hurtful on someone's, or you started to comment that. They actually have like a bully mode that will read that and say, you know what, before we post that, are you sure you want to say that? Yeah, and you probably never experienced that because maybe you're a nice person. You've never actually posted something that's bullying. They also have a mode called restrict. So let's say someone's really bugging you on Instagram. Instead of blocking them, which is going to make them really mad, you restrict them. And what does that mean? Only they can see the stuff that they comment. Nobody else can. What a brilliant way to kind of keep the trolls at bay while not cluing them into the fact that they've been restricted. So we'll see what happens next week. Will the entire Instagram world collapse when likes are no longer shown in the U.S.? Again, rolling out, not going to happen to everyone overnight, but something to be aware of. You are listening to The Tech Guy. Rich DeMuro sitting in today for Leo Laporte, who is on vacation. We've got the phone lines open at 1-8888-ASK-LEO or 888-827-5536. Your calls are up next on The Tech Guy. Rich DeMuro back with you on The Tech Guy. Welcome back to the show. Phone lines are open at 1-8888-ASK-LEO, 1-888-827-5536. Where's Leo this week, you ask? Somewhere in the world. I bet you can find him if you searched a little bit on social media. He's out there. But let me welcome someone who is here, Kimmy Schaffer. What's up?
I bet you didn't know that was my little nickname there until just now.
Kimmy?
Yeah. Well,
I kind of knew.
You can assume.
You are our phone screener extraordinaire.
Yeah.
We got to hang out last week after the show, which was a lot of fun.
And if you So please, we could do it again today, but
I'm
totally up to you.
I'm not gonna. Now that you put me on the spot, I mean, it's just national radio. If I said no, my gosh, that'd be bad. But no, it was really fun.
It was fun.
Turns out there's a lot of good places around here.
There's a ton of good places around here. So it's nice to expose you to some of our Northern California delicacies when it comes to adult libations, I guess is what
if that's what you call it up here. Okay. Now we sound very cryptic to folks. But we
have a lot of breweries.
Yes. Right around the corner too.
Simply, yeah.
So how are you doing on this Saturday?
I'm great, but I do want to clarify something with you on the Instagram thing, just for my own.
Sure.
Likes. Okay, can I see how many people like my own post? I just can't see how many people like your post, or are all the likes going away?
You can see how many people like your posts. You can't see how many people like my posts.
Okay.
So,
because if they took away that aspect, it would be almost like, why am I posting anything anyway?
I mean, come on.
I guess I don't need the reassurance, but it's kind of nice to know that somebody saw.
We don't need any reassurance in life, but it's nice to have it, right?
Yeah, because if I didn't even see if one single person liked my thing, I'm like, why am I posting anything?
Yeah,
What's the point?
If a tree falls in the woods and nobody hears it, nobody's there to hear it.
Exactly.
It's something like that, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think Instagram is the hottest thing going right now online, on the web, on apps, whatever you want to call it. So I don't think they're going to mess with it in a way that's going to ruin the platform, but they're trying things, that's for sure.
We're always tweaking.
All right, so we getting some calls?
Yeah. How about Mark in Mission Viejo? He's looking for a software or maybe a screen reader. He's kind of losing his vision and sounds like he needs something to speak back emails to him.
All right,
I'm wondering if you have any suggestions on that. Line 2.
All right, Mark in Mission Viejo. Thanks, Kimmy. Mark, you're on with Rich. Hello, Mark. Mark, you're on with Rich. Okay, well, there he is.
Sorry about that. No,
Hi.
Hey, sorry about that.
No worries.
So I'm losing my vision. I've got a PC that's several years old, but it's running Windows 10, and I can no longer even. I got a big monitor. I got a magnifying glass, and I just can't see to read anymore. So, what kind of software is there that when I open up my emails, it'll read my emails to me, and I can order online, like order groceries or whatever, to be delivered to the house? What kind of voice to text and text to voice type stuff would anybody recommend?
Well, first off, sorry to hear this. What's happening? Is this a getting old thing, or is it something that is did you know this was going to happen?
Yeah, no, just macular degeneration.
Okay.
Just life goes on. So I've got peripheral vision, but no longer the central vision. So I can get around okay. I just can't see the screen anymore.
So when it comes to looking at the screen and reading things, that's what's tough.
Yes.
Okay. It's one of those things that can be tricky. Now, you've tried increasing the size on everything, and that's not really working out.
Oh, brother, let me tell you, I've been putting this off as long as possible. I just didn't want to give in.
Okay. And, that's like I see people with their phones. They've got the zoom all the way up, right? And you can tell some people, like for me personally, like I refuse. I'm like, I will keep it at the smallest possible text for as long as humanly possible, right?
Yeah. No, so I'm to the point that I've just done all of the off-the-shelf type tricks. Magnifying glasses, 60-inch monitor. I mean, it's just everything I could possibly get my hands on. But it's time for some software, I think. And I tried looking online, before I got to this point, and I couldn't. There's a lot of stuff out there, but I just thought maybe between you and the chat room that there'd be somebody that's experienced this already, or has I don't care what I got to pay for it. Right. I just want to get something that's going to work.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people can identify. But here's now, do you have an iPhone or Android?
Got an iPhone.
Okay. Well, have you heard that they came out with a new feature in the iPhone in iOS 13 that speaks almost every single thing on the screen?
No.
Yeah, and this is so iPhone has had in the past. They've had, ways like features called voiceover inside accessibility, but now they have taken it to the extreme where you can now control the entire phone with just your voice. And so it's a feature in iOS 13 that just came out. And so if you go into your accessibility features on iOS 13, you can find it. And I believe it's called Speak Screen. And what it does is, and I tried this, you can actually surf the web. And what it does is it assigns numbers to like links and buttons, so you can actually call them out. It'll say, this is this option, that's that option. I mean, it's pretty thorough. I mean, you could literally, they showed it off at WWDC, and it was pretty impressive. And so you can literally, control. It's called voice control. And once you set it up, you can do everything you need to do. Now, that's just your phone. I get it. You want more. You want your computer and all that stuff, right?
Yes.
Now, I don't know if the new Catalina has the same thing, which is, similar voice commands. I know there is some voice and some assistance built in to Catalina. Do you have a Mac or PC?
I've got a PC.
Okay, so you're talking about PC.
I'm on Windows 10.
Well, the best software for speaking is by a company named Nuance. Have you heard of them?
Yes.
So they make something called Dragon and all their Dragon voice stuff. So I think that your best bet is to probably look into that. Have you tried that one?
Well, I looked, and Nuance had several products,
right?
And I just wasn't sure which one was best, for a quote unquote two-way conversation.
Right.
I'm going to be sitting in the house in the dark talking to my computer, right? So
a little different than but it look, like you said, it happens, and it's the beauty is that technology has the ability to help you out in a situation like this. I mean, that's what's nice, is that you don't have to give up the computer.
Yes. So is there any, because Nuance, they've got several versions of that software. Is there any one that you know of that's any better than the other?
I would look at the Dragon Home, and Dragon Home pretty much does a lot of what you're asking for, which means you can voice to text. So if you want to, dictate an email back to someone or have it read an email back to you, it does that. You can also surf. You can also surf the web with this as well.
So I'm going to get my groceries delivered. Do you think I'll be able to use that to go to the Ralph Servan's website and get it to order groceries for me?
I mean, look, is it going to be easy? Probably not. But I think you've already experienced that there are some differences in controlling with voice versus controlling with a mouse, right?
Yes.
So it's probably going to be a little challenging at first, but I think if you do it and you get the hang of it, and especially once you put in a couple orders, maybe get a friend to help you put in your first order or so, and then after that you can do a reorder with some changes. That might help. But does that sound like it's going to help you out a little bit, Mark?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and if anybody else out there in your chat room, how do I get to the chat room, by the way?
Go to twit.tv, and you can find the chat room there.
Okay.
But check it out. There's a lot of good help, Mark, in the chat room. We feel for you, man. We know what you're going through, and I know it's not easy, but like I said, the beauty of technology is that we do have some help along the way, especially in the new iPhone, especially with some of this software. Good question. Thanks so much for calling in on the show. Phone lines are open at 8888 Ask Leo. We got Scott Wilkinson, our home theater geek, on the way. Welcome back to The Tech Guy. Rich DeMuro in for Leo Laporte, who's on vacation today. Website for the show is techguylabs.com. If you hear something you're interested in, no need to write it down. Just go to the website, techguylabs.com. We index all the questions that you ask, and we put the answers there so you can search for them later. Welcome now, or help me welcome to the show, Scott Wilkinson, our home theater geek. What's up, Scott?
Hey, Rich. How you doing, man?
I am doing great today. Always love to chat with you. You don't live too far from me in Los Angeles, so
that's right. That's right.
We're neighbors.
We need to get together sometime.
I know. We only live like 5 miles apart. It would just be like an hour and a half in traffic.
Exactly. Yes.
No big deal. So what's going on today? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Wanted to address an issue that a number of people email me about. And by the way, if you have a question about home theater or audio video of any sort, you can email me at scott@techguylabs.com. And I answer some, as many as I can. Of course, I get a lot, and I do work. So, but I do try and answer as many. It's a good thing, yeah. Anyway, I got this email from George Oprescu, who said, I'd like to know if it's possible to connect a tape deck. He has a Revox B77, kind of a nice reel-to-reel tape deck, to a modern AV receiver. Specifically, he's talking about the Marantz NR1509 that doesn't have a tape-in, tape-out setup. Now, this is a really interesting question because I don't know if you remember. You're probably too young to remember when AV receivers had tape loops, right? A tape in and a tape out.
Sure. No. I did when I was a kid, I did record stuff off the radio. That was what we did. So I did have tapes. I did have cassettes, but I didn't I don't recall that part.
Yeah. So on older receivers, there were some special connectors called tape in and tape out. And basically you would connect your tape deck to them. You'd connect the tape out on the receiver to the input on the tape deck, and the output of the tape deck to the tape in of the receiver. And that way, you could route signals from the receiver, say from the radio. In your case, you wanted to record something off the radio, or even a LP or something like that. You could route it to the tape deck, record it, and then play that back and listen to it over your sound system that you had in your home. But that went away quite some years ago. Manufacturers of AVRs, of receivers, sort of stopped putting them in there. How
many years ago are we talking?
Oh, we're talking
10?
10, 15,
15,
maybe.
Okay.
15 or 20 when they started to disappear, and now they're completely gone because people don't use tape decks anymore, and they don't record off the radio anymore. I mean, we've got streaming now. You can get almost anything you want, by streaming. Why do you need to even record anything? Right. I have boxes of recordings that my father made of radio shows and even TV shows, the audio from TV shows. He was a music teacher, and so he recorded a lot of stuff. But
wow. Did you ever listen to any of those?
No, I don't think they're good anymore. I mean, this was in the 50s.
Oh, wow.
So, and this is where I got my love of audio equipment, actually, was my dad and his tape recorders. So that's
usually
cool.
how it works, right? I mean, well, in my house, nobody was really into tech, but I remember my dad buying a giant, remember when the receivers, like the Sony, it had like 10, 15 components?
Yeah.
That's what he bought. And that's, I started playing with that and it had a record player and, it was just so fun. Nowadays,
really
it's like,
fun.
Your iPhone just does it all.
Does it all. Exactly. It's all in this one thing, whereas before you had a whole stack of stuff. Anyway, so is it even possible to do this, what George wants? And the answer is yes. With certain receivers, and the Marantz NR1509 is one of them, because what receivers now have often, not always, but often, is what's called a pre-out or a preamp out. And these days, receivers are multi-channel, right? They're surround sound, typically. You can still buy stereo receivers, but for the most part, they have 5.1 or 7.1 or even Dolby Atmos. But very often, the front two channels, at least, have a preamp output. So this is a line-level audio output that is before the power amplifiers in the receiver. So the receiver has power amplifiers, it powers speakers, but you don't want to send a speaker level signal to a tape deck. That would probably blow it up. Instead, you want to send what's called line level audio, and that comes out of these pre-outs on the receiver. So you connect the pre-outs to the inputs of the tape deck and the outputs of the tape deck to one of the inputs on the receiver. It won't say tape. The inputs on receivers are very often labeled,
right?
CD, Blu-ray, DVD, whatever. And they most often there aren't any that are labeled tape, but you just use one of them anyway, and you plug the output of the tape deck back to one of the inputs on the AV receiver, not the phono input. Most receivers have a phono input because people still listen to vinyl records, and so they have a phonograph. But the phono input's a little bit special. because it depends on whether the turntable has what's called a moving magnet or a moving coil cartridge. The signal levels are a little different, so you don't want to use the phono input, but any of the other inputs for the tape deck is fine.
Scott, you've got me thinking with all of this technical inputs, outputs, pre-line, post-line, preamp, phono. But think about it. All this stuff has gone by the wayside because on the newest devices, there aren't any inputs or outputs anymore. I mean, with the newest iPhones and newest, cell phones, it's all Bluetooth, and that's it.
That's right.
I mean, you can't even plug. I mean, you could plug stuff in with an adapter, perhaps, but I mean, even on these new computers, I mean, you barely get a headphone jack. It's really wild.
Often you don't. That's right. That's right. Everything is going wireless, and those in the audiophile community complain about that because wireless is inherently not as good as a wired connection because wireless, Bluetooth, for example, uses data compression.
Oh yeah. I can tell. I can tell in my car as soon as I get in my car, the Bluetooth to my iPhone snaps in and it starts playing music. And then when I plug my phone in for CarPlay, it's like the sound just becomes so much fuller when it's actually over a wired connection.
Exactly, but nobody wants to have a wired connection anymore, and I do get that. Wires are a pain in the butt, but you do get better quality, and there's nothing you have to use a wired connection if you're going to try to record something on a tape deck like this guy, like George, is going to do. So there is an answer to do it. You can do it. Similarly, you're probably too young to remember the Bose 901 speaker.
Oh, I remember it well. No,
Okay, good.
It made a big impression on my childhood.
Okay, good. Well, when I was in college, that was the speaker to have. And you can use the same type of connection to connect the equalizer that came with the Bose 901s that you have to use with them if you want them to sound good. You had to have a tape loop. In the early days when the Bose 901 first came out, you had to have a tape loop to connect the equalizer to. And then now receivers don't have that anymore. So you can use this same trick of the front, left, right pre-outs to the equalizer and back in. In that case, you sometimes need a preamp input in order to do that. So this particular receiver might not work, but it's still an interesting question on how to deal with these older pieces of equipment.
Yeah, and you really need to find the person like yourself that still knows all of this stuff because this information is going by the wayside. Scott, how can folks get in touch with you?
Oh, they can email me at scott@techguylabs.com.
Scott Wilkinson, our home theater geek contributor at techhive.com. Thanks so much for joining me today. You are listening to The Tech Guy. We've got more of your calls after this at 1-8888-ASK-LEO, 1-888-827-5536. Got a tech question? Give me a call. So, Scott,
yes, R. Chandra reminding me that the RIAA response curve for the phono input's another reason not to use a phono input. I forgot about that. Thank you, R. Chandra. Wow. Sorry, Rich. Yes.
So we've got a caller with a question about a Vizio TV. So but it's something that I guess you have recommended many times. So I'm going to bring him on. Sure. And if I need your help, I'm going to bring you back in. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
No problem.
So we'll go to him as the first caller and see.
Okay, sure. I'm sticking around till the top of the hour if you want.
And I do have to do a Leo ad in the next segment, so I do have to get it in sometime in the middle of that segment. So just FYI, less is more, I guess.
No problemo.
But that stuff is wild. It really I remember. Do you remember paper records? Like you used to get a record like in the newspaper sometimes. Like I remember,
I don't
advertising
paper, but it was some sort of plastic that was blown in to a magazine or a paper or something. Yeah, I do remember those.
Here comes John.
I don't remember them made out of paper.
What did we do wrong?
No, I gotta just arrange the clock for him. I'm arranging the clock for you, Scott. Now look over up there on preview. I'm gonna put this clock so he can see it.
Oh, great.
And I'll get rid of that one for you there. And
now you know all the secrets, Scott.
What's that?
Can you see the clock?
No, I have to take it.
Oh, he hasn't taken it yet. He's going to show you the shot clock so you know when
Oh, yes, good. Leo does show that to me.
Yeah, so about halfway through, I've got to do the Leo ad.
Okay, no problem.
I kind of messed up on that last week, so I definitely don't want to get it wrong this week.
Believe me, I understand all too well.
Yeah, it's tricky. And it's also, it's Leo doing them, so it's kind of different. Right. Yes, see, someone remembers a plastic 45 that came in magazines. That's what I'm talking about. I remember getting a one from McDonald's.
Oh, yeah?
It was like, remember their song? It was like, oh my gosh. I used to, of course, as a kid, used to memorize it. McDonald's song.
Sure. It's not I'm loving it, because that's a newer ad campaign. It's
no.
Oh,
no. This is in the 80s. McDonald's song like
that's what I thought.
Big Mac, Big Mac filet of fish. Yeah, 1984.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if someone has it.
Oh, here's a good question. Maverick 56. He went and bought an OLED LG TV a couple weeks back. They recommended to buy insurance. He said, no, never buy insurance for everything. What's your opinion on buying extended warranty for TVs and other electronics? I generally don't either. If
the warranties?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your feeling on that? I generally don't, because if electronics are going to fail, they're going to fail pretty quickly within the manufacturer warranty. And if they don't fail within the manufacturer warranty, then you're probably pretty good for a while.
Yeah. And my thing, like I just bought an iPhone, which was like, $1,400. Yeah. And I'm like, do I want to pay the $10 a month? But like, by the time you add up all the money and everything, it's like, you got, don't forget, you got to pay when you get it repaired. So to me, I would much rather save that money and hope that, like with my computer, I've had to repair it twice. It's been $1,200. But when I did the math of how much it would have cost me for the Apple Care, it's, yes, you're going to come out a little ahead with the warranty, but you have to continue paying that. Yeah. So it's, but look.
Now, I will say for an iPhone, I do buy the insurance for that.
Oh, you do? See?
It's portable and you drop it.
I know. I'm, it's
out in the world and you're banging it around.
I agree. And I will probably regret it, but.
Now, for stuff that lives at home, no, I don't do it.
Right. And it's always like when you're at the checkout, it's always like 10 to 30% more. So it's like you're talking, if someone gave you a coupon and said, here's 30% more on top of this device for something you may or may not use. All right, we're coming back here. Welcome back to The Tech Guy. Rich DeMuro in for Leo Laporte, taking your questions at 8888 Ask Leo. Richard is in West LA. Welcome to the show, Richard. Nice name.
Hi. Thanks for taking the call.
Love the name.
So do I. I have a question for Scott, if he's still around.
Yes, Scott is still around. I've got him on the line as well.
Okay. Scott, I bought a P51 Vizio. It lasted 6 months, and it totally died.
Oh, no!
Since it was under warranty, they brought in a new one, and I think it was new because it was in a box that they had to pry open, so I assume it was new.
Uh-huh.
And then that lasted about a year and a half, and just yesterday, when I would turn on the set, I would get the sound, but no picture at all. I had called DirecTV to come over because I thought it was their problem. The guy told me it's the problem with the television because the sound is coming through, but the picture is dead. Now, I have a picture right now. I don't want to mislead you. It's not as if it was a permanent problem, but I'm wondering if you'd seen anything like that before.
Richard, my question is, what are you doing to your TVs?
I don't watch it anymore.
What's that?
I'm trying not to watch it. By the way, one other thing that the DirecTV guy said, one or two of my HDMI ports seem to be dead. So
I have heard of Vizio TV HDMI getting problematic. I have heard of that, but I haven't heard of the picture simply cutting out intermittently, apparently.
Yeah. Well, now
while the sound stays there.
I get a lot of emails about TVs failing before the warranty, like I've had my TVs for a decade prior, like you can keep a TV for like many, many years most of the time. But I do get emails from people that say these things fail. So my question is, could it be something with a surge or some sort of power issue that's causing this to recur?
Well, more often than not, the problems I hear about TVs failing is in the power supply of the TV itself.
But it's interesting that he's still getting
exactly. That's not this
audio.
Problem, I don't think. Correct.
And Richard, have you checked all the connections? Have they all?
As a matter of fact, the DirecTV tech was here a week ago to this very day because I did some switching around and I didn't know what I was doing. He set it all up, and everything is as tight as can be according to the DirecTV guy who was here yesterday.
Well, this is frustrating. I mean, you're talking your second Vizio TV now to fail.
Within within 3 years.
That's pretty bad. So what does it make you feel about Vizio?
Yeah.
Well, I must say, I'm hesitant. You know, if this thing really is showing signs of dying, I have to think about another set. And, you know, I'm hesitant to really I trust Scott a lot. I mean, that's why I bought the damn thing, frankly.
And I have recommended Vizio many, many, many times. And I'm really sad to hear this story of two of them having problems within 3 years. That's not great.
And a lot of people have Vizios. I mean, it's not as if, believe me, Vizio has built a pretty good business over the past decade or 15 years. So it's not like it's a problem that's happening to everyone.
No.
But it could happen. So what do you do when you have no TV?
Yeah, really. I would, as a former quality control engineer and a troubleshooter, I would really try to determine, and you had a DirecTV guy there. I hope he knew what he was doing. To say, no, it's not DirecTV. I would have, for example, plugged a Blu-ray player directly into the same HDMI input, played something, and see if that worked. If it didn't, then yes, it's the TV. If it did, then it's maybe the DirecTV box after all.
Well, the DirecTV guy said, as long as I'm getting sound, I'm making contact with the dish upstairs.
Well, here's the thing: the DirecTV guy doesn't necessarily have your best interests at heart. And I'm not, trying to knock them, but he's not there to troubleshoot your TV. He's there to troubleshoot DirecTV and make sure that you have a signal from them. So,
and I don't necessarily agree that having sound and no picture means that it's not the DirecTV box. The DirecTV box might be sending audio and not video.
Yeah. Have you tried?
It's possible.
Have you tried something else with this input?
Well, no. Right now, I'm watching television. Okay, it's working fine now. This only
don't
happened
touch
yesterday.
Don't ever turn it off again.
Well, that's my thought. My electrical bill might go into the roof, but
right.
Well, how much did you pay for this TV? And this is the second one that they gave you. How much did you originally pay?
I don't remember. I think somewhere. Oh no, I do remember. It's only around $1,200.
Only. That's a decent amount.
Well, but for a 50-inch? Did you say it was a 50-inch?
Yeah, P51, I think, Scott.
Yeah,
I got the right number.
It would have been a P50 or a P55, I think.
Well, P50. I don't think it's 55.
Right. In any event, and 3 years ago, $1,200, sure. These days, it'll be less.
Yeah, I think the advice would be to, try something else. I mean, it sounds like it's working for now. I would say just monitor it. If it continues to go out, maybe get in touch with Vizio again. You never know, because they might want to look at this and see what's going on. But it sounds like either something's loose, something is a little off. I would definitely put some sort of surge protector on that TV to make sure that it's not some sort of power issue. But I'd also be concerned with the other HDMI ports that are not working. So it seems like there could be another bigger issue with this TV. But good question, Richard. They say that maybe, maybe it's less TV. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe you'll read more books.
I would never advocate for that.
No way. Maybe listen to more radio. All right, Scott, thanks for helping out on that question. I do appreciate it. And Scott recommends the Vizios. I recommend the Vizios. They're a good TV, but again, look, when you're making millions and millions of products, there's bound to be some sort of issue here and there. All right, now let's turn it over to Leo for another message.
Let me interrupt the great Rich DeMuro. Thank you, Rich, for filling in. I appreciate it. To tell you about Capterra. Man, this is a solution every business needs to know about. So many businesses basically these days run on software, but you really ought to be using the most modern software that's right for your business. If you are not satisfied with your current software, maybe it's old, maybe it's unreliable, maybe you just haven't looked at what's out there today, go to capterra.com/techguy. It's the leading free online resource to help you find the best software solution for your business. What if you could lessen your workload? Well, you can with Capterra. Capterra helps you find the right software for your needs, your specific solution, fast. That means you get back to business even faster. You can compare thousands of software options. You can read reviews. You can instantly narrow down to your favorites and then find the right software right now at capterra.com/techguy. Best part is 1 million plus reviews from real software users. So before you buy, you can actually find out everything you need to know and make an informed decision. Get the software that works, that's right. All of those reviews validated. You can trust they're actual buyers. so you can be confident with your purchase. That no one else does this. This is so great. And because Capterra is free, I think more people leave reviews. There's 1,000 new reviews every single day on Capterra. In fact, honestly, that's the only payment. Pay it forward a little bit. Once you download and use a program for a while, leave a review on Capterra. Let it continue to be the leading free online resource for software solutions. 700 categories, everything from digital workplace software to video management software. The software for your particular line of business, I guarantee you, it's right there. Capterra makes it easy to discover the best solution for you fast, because Capterra believes software makes the world a better place. Software can help every organization become a better version of itself. You visit Capterra today at capterra.com/techguy. Honestly, it's just fun to browse through. You wouldn't believe all the different kinds of software. One that's right for you, I guarantee you. Visit capterra.com/techguy for free today to find the tools to make an informed decision for your business. Why suffer with bad old software? Get the best at capterra.com/techguy. And best of all, it's free. It's free. Capterra, software selection simplified. Capterra.com/techguy. Now back to Rich.
Thanks, Leo. Rich DeMuro in for Leo Laporte today, taking more of your calls at 8888 Ask Leo. Julian is in L.A. Julian, is that Los Angeles or Louisiana?
Los Angeles, your same hometown.
Well, I used to live in Louisiana, so it's weird because when I lived there, to me, L.A. meant Louisiana. Now that I live in L.A., I always say L.A.
L.A., yeah.
So what's on your mind? Welcome to the show.
So a few things. I wanted to call and give it some information that might be of interest to blind listeners in Los Angeles, and it's kind of interesting, the timing, because our first caller that you had from Orange County, I think, might benefit from this, the one who's looking for a screen reading solution for his computer. This is an event called The Best in Tech, and it's going to be held this Saturday, November 16th, at the Braille Institute in Los Angeles. And what this event consists of is a presentation from regular everyday users of assistive technology. They give a little 8-minute presentation on something that they've found to be very useful to them or the people they work. Like in my case, I teach assistive technology, throughout this year. This is sponsored by vendors who sell assistive technology, both software as well as hardware. So it's a great place to go and sort of get some hands-on experience, attend workshops that they put on. As we all know, since this isn't mainstream, you can't go to Best Buy for this stuff. So these events are kind of few and far between, and we're fortunate to have this here in L.A. So,
all right, good information. At the Braille Institute, I'm guessing?
Yeah, and if I could give the website real quick, because pre-registration is very helpful. It's www.bestintech.info. So that's BESTINTECH.INFO.
All right, great. What can I help you with?
And then I wanted to just real quickly just say to that caller that Microsoft has something called Narrator that's built into Windows that might do what he's looking for, that's free. The speak screen option in the iPhone is great also for people who still use their vision but still occasionally maybe just want certain text read to them. So that might be helpful for him. The thing I wanted to ask you about is the fingerprint reader going the way of the headphone jack?
Good question.
I love Touch ID, and especially as a blind person, it's really nice when I could just reach over to the table, tap my phone, read my print, and interact with my screen without ever having to lift it.
I am so right there with you, Julian. In fact, on the new Pixel, the face unlock is so fast, it borderlines on annoying. They say the rumor is that the fingerprint's coming back on the next iPhone. We'll see if that actually happens. You're listening to The Tech Guy. More of your calls at 8888 Ask Leo after this. Hey, Julian, sorry I had to cut you off there because we had to go to break.
No problem. All good.
Did you say you're blind as well?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. So now do you work at the Braille Institute?
No, I work for myself. I call myself a mobile assistive technology specialist.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Well, where were you when we needed you in the first call? That was great. Wow. How?
Yeah, well, I'm happy to help. I've helped Leo before with other callers. Whenever I hear the stuff come in, if I have an answer, I'll call it in. I have a website if you want to just have it for contact.
Sure.
It's www.techjv.com. That's TECH. J as in John, V as in Victor.com.
There you are. Now, have you played with this new feature, the new accessibility feature, the voice control on the iPhone? Have you tried that?
I myself don't play with that much. From what I understand, that's more targeted toward people with motor disabilities, people who physically can't interact with a touchscreen device. Touching the screen, doing things like that. I've heard of voiceover users who use it as well, but right now, I don't think they play as nice as they should together. And I'm sure that in the future, Apple, like they've done with all their other accessibility stuff, makes it work better with each other.
Yeah, I was going to say, they kind of almost seem like competing features.
Yeah, I think, again, it's targeting more people with physical disabilities versus visual disabilities, but I can certainly see where it will eventually maybe be able to help both.
Great. All right. Well, thanks for the information on the Best in Tech. I thought it's funny because I actually got a pitch from the Braille Institute on the Best in Tech. So when you started talking about it,
awesome.
I actually was looking up my email that they sent me, and it's happening, next weekend, right?
Yeah, it'd be great if you guys could cover it. I'm actually going to be one of the people in that panel giving a presentation on. I'm giving a presentation on all the new accessibility stuff that Apple added in iOS 13 that I'm really happy with.
There you go. And that's the Braille Institute is right there on Melrose, right? It's like Melrose,
Melrose in Vermont.
Vermont, yeah, I remember.
If people pre-register early, before the event, they're even providing free lunch from Subway. So they kind of want to have a head count, and that's why they ask that people pre-register.
All right, great. All right, Julian, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. Appreciate the info.
Thanks, Rich, and you're doing an awesome job.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Scott. Scott, you take control of the folks here, and go ahead. I'm going to go take a little break.
Cool, man. Thanks. Oh, and there's my clock. Thank you very much. So, hey, everybody. Good to see you all this fine Saturday. It's good weather here in L.A., and I hear from Lawn Dog in the desert as well. Hope it is where you are. Let's see. Beatmaster said, not sure about most receivers. Phono inputs are getting rare. That may be true, although I don't think they're going to go away altogether. Some receivers will certainly not have them, but I think they'll always be there, at least for the foreseeable future, because vinyl is still an important audio format after all these years, all these decades. And in fact, it's the one form of physical media, as far as I know, that's actually increasing in sales over the last number of years. I don't know how many. I'd have to do some research, but it's still popular and growing. And you go to an audiophile show, and there's tons of people selling vinyl. So, I think as long as that's true, there's always going to be at least some receivers with a phono input. And if you're a big vinyl guy, gal, person, then you're going to want to make sure if you buy a new receiver that it has a phono input. That's very important. Marsworm still has a tape in out on a receiver. Wow. That's rare because tape decks are really disappearing. Now, some audiophiles swear by them. I go to audiophile trade shows or consumer shows, and there's always at least a few companies that are demoing their product using a reel-to-reel tape deck, a TIAC or a Tascam. Those are both the same company, actually. So, that still exists in the audiophile world, but it's much less so, I think, than vinyl. Although, of course, you can do more with vinyl. Let's see. We talked about insurance. Could it be? Oh, Mike B asked if could be something with the power. That guy with the Vizio. Too much or too little voltage? I don't think so. And we've been in the chat room. They've been talking about power strips and so on as well. And I am not sure if there had been a power surge, like a big spike. That would have knocked the whole TV out. The sound wouldn't still be working. That's my estimation anyway. Lawn Dog wants to suggest a power strip with a surge protector in it. Of course, if the TV did get a surge, putting a power strip with a surge protector on it now is kind of too late. But I don't think, Beatmaster says, I don't think the issue being described doesn't seem to be related to power. And I agree with that. Beatmaster wonders if it's an EDID issue, EDID, Extended Display Identification. I don't think so either, because at least from what I understand of the phone call, it was working and now it's not. So that would seem to me to indicate it's not an EDID issue. I'm still not convinced it's not the DirecTV box. Another piece of troubleshooting that one could do, that he could do, is to get another TV, any other TV with an HDMI input, plug it into the DirecTV box and see if he gets a picture with the sound. If he does, then it's obviously the TV's problem. If he doesn't, then it's undoubtedly the display, the DirecTV box's problem. Now, a couple people in here have been wondering about whether or not it was a cable issue, HDMI cable issue. And again, it worked for a while and then it didn't. And I don't think I've ever heard of an HDMI cable failing and only the video portion, because it's carrying both video and audio. I've never heard of it failing with the video portion. I've never even heard of an HDMI cable failing just in the middle of when it's connected. It worked for a while, then it didn't. I've never heard of that. So I doubt that that's what it is.
Welcome back to The Tech Guy. I'm Rich DeMuro, tech reporter at KTLA Channel 5 in Los Angeles. You might know me as Rich on Tech if you see my tech segment pop up on your TV station. It's not just KTLA. We do it around the country to a bunch of stations. You can find me, facebook.com/RichOnTech. There I post all the cool stuff I talk about on TV. And our website here is techguylabs.com. The phone number, 8888-ASK-LEO. In case you haven't noticed, Leo Laporte is on vacation today. He's having fun somewhere in the world, and I'm having fun right here. But man, the week was not fun for a couple people. Did you hear about this? A bunch of people this week, I believe it was Wednesday night or overnight Wednesday, got text messages delivered to their phone that I call phantom texts. They got a message from a friend and they said, hey, why'd you just send me this? And it turns out that the friend didn't send them that message. It was a mystery for a while until people started looking into what happened. And it turns out, there's a great blog post about this from a company called Cineverse. But what happened is that a bunch of text messages were never delivered back in the day. And the day, by the way, was Valentine's Day 2019. So imagine this. You sent a text to your love on Valentine's Day. They never responded. You thought, that's weird. 9 months later, that text is delivered to that person overnight. Now, maybe you broke up with that person. Maybe you're no longer friends with that person. Maybe it's even someone that passed away. These are all scenarios that actually happened. If you got one of these texts, give me a call, 8888-ASK-LEO. I want to hear from you. 1-888-827-5536. Did you get one of these phantom texts? Could you imagine? What if that text said, I love you so much, I want to get married, but you never heard from that person, and so you went on with your life, and now you're married to someone else? I mean, it could happen in 6 months. Who knows? It sounds like all the makings of a movie, doesn't it? But let me tell you what happened. So everyone was scratching their head saying, what's going on? I'm sure there were some allegations going on, some awkward situations going on. But this company, Cineverse, explained it. So person-to-person text messages that cannot be delivered immediately are temporarily stored between 24 and 72 hours. So let's say you send a text, you're in somewhere that doesn't have a signal. Well, the system kind of, your phone or whatever, it just kind of holds that message for 3 days. And if it can't deliver that message after 3 days, it's automatically deleted. It just can't do it. It says we give up. You've seen this on your iPhone sometimes where it says message not delivered. You could try again. Well, this is kind of on the network level. So the network says we couldn't deliver that message. Let's try again later. And they keep trying and they keep trying. They can't do it. So they just say, oh, you know what? We're just going to delete this. It never gets delivered. Maybe you don't know any different. That's kind of what happened here. So the messages from February 14th, 2019, a server failed. And all the messages that were in queue at the time just kind of stayed there. And they didn't get deleted for some reason. Normally they get deleted. They did not get deleted. Well, on November 7th, 2019, which is when this happened, the server was reactivated. And guess what? When that thing came back to life and all those gears started churning, so to say, all those text messages were delivered overnight. And next thing you know, people's phones started ringing. Bing, 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 bing. Wait, what's this? What? A message from someone I haven't spoken to in 6 months. What? February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Yeah, you're talking 9 months. So can you imagine the confusion that these people woke up to? I got a bunch of emails from people. People said, "Hey, Rich, I got this text from my boyfriend last night. This is a weird text he sent me. It makes no sense, and I don't see any record of it. It was so confusing because he said he didn't send it. So who's lying here?" And I said, "I don't know, but let me look into this." Now, originally they said that about 160,000 people got these messages. Now, with the updated blog post from Cineverse, they're saying, well, it's actually kind of more people. A lot of the people were T-Mobile and Sprint customers, but it seems to have, and also iPhone, Android, it doesn't seem to have any boundaries. This was a wide swath of the public. But man, it really makes you think about that, huh? Just how crazy it is that you send a message, it's never delivered, and it's delivered 9 months later. I mean, there's just so many implications of this. It's just wild to me. Wow. I did not get one of these messages, that's for sure. But I know people at my work did. I got people emailing me that got them. And it's one of these things that you realize just how much we rely on text. Some people don't call people. Some people only text. And some people read a lot into text messages. I mean, I get people that will send me a screenshot of a text and be like, "What do you think they meant by this?" And I said, "I don't know. Why don't you just call them up? Here's an idea. Just call them up instead of analyzing this text that they sent." A lot of times when you send a text, you can't tell what that person really means. Sometimes they have a sense of humor that may not come across in a text. But people analyze these things forever. And back in the day when you actually spoke to someone, you knew what they were saying. You understood what they were saying because you heard from them. You understood the little nuances in their voice. And with text messaging, you get none of that. And so for me, a lot of times, people take me very seriously. I'm on TV. So I can't even joke on Twitter because people believe what I'm saying. And so I have to be very careful about making jokes. And in text messaging, when it's, family and friends most of the time, I even put a little LOL after that because I just want to make sure that everyone knows I am joking. I just want to be sure that you know I am joking. Well, these texts that were received were no joke. And man, oh man, just unbelievable that this can happen. But it really gives you a little insight into the whole world of text messaging. Now, I think the difference is a lot of people use iMessage. If you're sending from an iPhone to an iPhone and it comes up blue, that's actually not going through the text messaging system. That's just going through Apple's servers. So this did not affect iMessage. This was when messages were sent as a text message. So realistically, I think a lot of these messages were sent cross-platform, which means iPhone to Android, Android to Android, Android to iPhone, because in all those cases, these messages are routed through these companies and not through the Apple servers. But man, what an interesting thing to wake up to. Phantom texts. And there were some fights. Oh, some relationships were severed or put at risk because of these texts. Maybe it was a text from an ex that came through. Oh man, can you imagine having to explain that one? Now, I don't know why the other person would be looking at your text, but you probably wonder. And could this happen again? I mean, the company says, "We apologize to anyone who was impacted by this occurrence. While the issue has been resolved, we're in the process of reviewing our internal procedures to ensure it does not happen again, and we're actively working with our customers' teams to answer any questions they have." AKA, it probably could happen again. We don't really know. I'm sitting here now looking through my texts to see, isn't it wild just how many things we do on text messaging? I actually will sit there, you surf social media. I actually try to make it a point to go and look at my texts so I don't forget to respond to people, because I don't know if you've never responded to someone after a while, they get a little angry sometimes. So take a look at your text and send your loved ones a text. and say you love them. Rich DeMuro sitting in for Leo Laporte today on The Tech Guy. We got Johnny Jet coming up later in the show. We've got more of your calls, your questions. If you have something you got going on with tech, give me a call at 8888 Ask Leo, 1-888-827-5536. Your call's next. Welcome back to The Tech Guy. Rich DeMuro sitting in for Leo Laporte today. Website of the show is techguylabs.com. If you're interested in learning more about me, you can listen to my podcast. It's called Rich on Tech. It's where I talk about all this stuff as well. You can listen to it wherever you listen to your audio. Let's go to Michael in Los Angeles. Michael, you're on with Rich.
Hello there. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Good, thank you. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you great.
Great. I've been trying to update my Windows program, and I've tried multiple times. It keeps downloading the update, and then it says it was unable to install it. I tried safe mode, and then safe mode says they can't install it with safe mode. So I'm frustrated.
Oh, that is frustrating. How long has this been going on?
Well, it's been very recent because I use a software called Intuit Pro Series. I prepare tax returns, and I've been having some issues with that software. And there, Intuit tells me that it's because of the Windows update. So that everything will work fine once the Windows updates are installed. I said, okay, and I can't get them installed.
You sound like you're at some sort of restaurant. Can you order me like a pastrami on rye while you're there?
I'm sorry. I got you on AirPods so that I can hear you.
I hear you. Okay, so this is frustrating. This is one of those things where I've seen this with my Windows laptop as well, and I'm not sure what it is.
It's not a laptop, it's a desktop.
Well, it's the same thing, though. It's just the Windows updates, for some reason, are very finicky. Now, have you ever seen this before in the past? Because I have. And I feel like
Not that I'm aware of.
I feel like I get 50% of the time they work, 50% they don't, and next thing you know, it's like I'm just restarting my computer 3 or 4 times to get the full updates installed. So what kind of computer is this? This is a desktop with Windows, 10?
Desktop with Windows 10, yeah.
And what is the update that won't work?
I'm not in front of my computer right now, so I can't tell you the exact number, but it goes back, I think, back to June.
Oh, wow. This is something that's been going on for a while, huh? Well, I would, and you've tried restarting the computer. I mean,
many times.
Are you at your wit's end yet?
Yes, I am. That's why I'm calling you. I've had the Geek Squad come over. They couldn't help.
You had the Geek Squad come over and they could not figure it out?
They could not figure it out.
And what did they tell you?
They tried to blame it on the software.
On what software? The Intuit stuff?
Yes, exactly.
I doubt a program would be interrupting your Windows update. I mean, it's a. Now, what is the update that? So here's the crutch of the matter. You need the update to make your Intuit work, but the update won't work.
I don't know. That's what Intuit is claiming. I have doubts about that. What's happening is when I go to load the Intuit program, instead of it immediately coming on with the sign-in page, it goes into I go to the Task Manager and I see it's in the processes, and the processes, it takes like 3 or 4 minutes before it then goes up, and then once the program opens and I enter the password, then opening a file from the program takes another 3 or 4 minutes. And I can't endure that 10 or 15 minutes every time I want to go from plan to plan.
Oh, no, absolutely not. That sounds insane. Have you ever considered kind of a clean wipe of this computer to that's kind of like the last ditch effort to save this thing?
Yeah, I have considered it, and what I wanted to do is completely reinstall Windows.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm being told that the only way to do that is I have to bring it into the shop.
Yeah. You live in Los Angeles?
Just LA, yes.
Yeah. You know what I would do, Michael? I would take this computer to the Microsoft store at the Century City Mall there. You've got the Microsoft store. It's the official place. And just they'll run a free diagnostic on it. It could be something that is interrupting the update. It could be it could be so many different things. And the fact that you have the Geek Squad out there, I get it. That's super frustrating for when you're paying money and they can't figure it out. So go to the Windows store, go to the Microsoft store, have them run their diagnostics. They generally do that for free if it's some sort of virus thing, and maybe it is. But it sounds like you're having an issue that is just not going to resolve itself. But personally, if I had to deal with this long, I would already be formatting. I'd be wiping my computer. It'd be fresh. In fact, when I get most of the software updates that I do on my computer, like let's say I'm going from the next operating system on my Mac, I usually do a clean install just to kind of get everything going. Now, I know Windows 10's been around for a while. There's not really a reason to do a clean install, but it might be time to do that. And by the way, they said that you had to go to a store or take it in to do a reinstall. You can do that from Windows in the Control Center. In Control Panel, you can just do it's like a refresh of the PC. It does delete everything, so it's kind of a last-ditch effort. But you can do that right from Windows. Generally, I mean, it depends on how your computer's set up, but generally the ones that come from the factory, that's something you can do. All right, good question. Let's go to Bill in Los Angeles.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I have a 17-inch MacBook Pro that just broke. I can no longer use it. I'm wanting to get the new 16-inch MacBook Pro, but of course they're not confirming that there is going to be one or when it will be released. I hate to spend the money on the 15-inch, which is the largest screen available. What would you do? Would you wait at this point to get the new 16-inch MacBook Pro?
How long? Well, you and I are in the same boat, by the way. I'm right there with you because I have been wanting a new computer. I've got the 13-inch and I want the 16-inch. I don't want to.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to get the 15-inch has been on the market for so long, right? And I'm like, I want the new thing, whatever the new thing's going to be. Right? That's the way you feel?
Right, and they're saying something about this, some issues with is it the scissor keyboard?
Yeah, the
keyboards. Know what that is, but that apparently has been the issue. But when I go into the store, they say, oh, that's just a rumor that there'll be one. I'm sure they're wanting to sell out of everything they have before.
Well, to their defense, in the store, they actually have no idea. Apple keeps everyone under wraps until they announce it. So they don't know in the store. And yes, there's been a whole bunch of rumors about this elusive 16-inch MacBook Pro with no bezels coming out.
Right.
And here's the deal. So I always look at this website, Mac Rumors Buyer's Guide. And if you look at the MacBook Pro right now, it's been 123 days since release, and the average is 301. So they refreshed it in May 2019, a little refreshed, and they had a July 2018, June 2017, October 2016. So will we get this 16-inch miraculous laptop? I don't know. Now, I will tell you, Bill, that I get someone that emails me all the time saying that they have an inside source at Apple, and it's going to be any day now for this laptop.
Right.
So
they've been saying that in September they were going to do the big announcements. It didn't come, and apparently now there's rumor that there will be two different 16-inch.
Well, I guess it all comes down to how long are you willing to wait, and that's what it really comes down to. So I say if you can wait, hold out as long as possible. I'd say maybe after the holidays or maybe before the holidays. That's when we might see that. We got Johnny Jett, our travel expert, coming up next on The Tech Guy, plus your calls at 8888 Ask Leo.
Which of the 15-inch would you buy?
If it was me personally, I would get the one you can afford the most specs on. So what do you want to do on this computer?
I have my own business, and I don't have a lot of needs. I like the graphics, but there's something about one of the 15 inches. You can only get a certain amount of capacity before you have to add on, spend more.
Yeah, well, if I'm looking at the 15-inch MacBook Pro, I would go with the, let's see here.
Thank you.
So you've got the 6-core or the 8-core. I think if you're just running, you got a Core i7, Core i9. I probably wouldn't go for the Core i9. I'd probably just go Core i7, and I would get the most I would get the most memory and the most hard drive you can. That's what I would recommend.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay. Bye-bye. And welcome back to the Tech Guy Radio Show. I'm Rich DeMuro, tech reporter at KTLA Channel 5 in Los Angeles, filling in today for Leo Laporte, who is on vacation. And you might think our next guest is always on vacation, but he just makes work look really easy. Johnny Jett, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm trying. I just turned off the fire pit because it was getting hot out here.
Turned off the fire pit. Johnny Jett is staying at a luxurious hotel somewhere in the LA area. I was able to guess it quickly. You thought I cheated by looking at your Instagram at Johnny Jett, but I did not. I've stayed at that place once before. You're
really good. It's a Ritz-Carlton Laguna Niguel, and there's a fire pit. And be careful if you're staying above with a phone.
I was on my phone. I had my phone. You know how you put your phone up to your ear and you use your shoulder to kind of hold it up there? Well, I was doing that on the balcony above where Johnny is staying, and my phone fell, I would say, to an untimely death, but it actually survived. But the best part is I actually have a picture of my phone. Somehow it snapped a picture mid-flight of right before it smashed into that fire pit. So I have this great picture of my phone.
You got to post it if you haven't already.
I did actually post it once before. This was a couple of years ago, but I'll find that picture. I'll have to search my Google Photos for fire.
Well, and speaking of this, we're on like a little staycation. So on the drive down, I remembered I either saw one of your tweets or Instagrams where you're talking about the Cookie Monster voice on Waze. So yes. I set it up, and you should have seen my 3-year-old's face when he heard Cookie Monster giving me directions.
I love to hear that. And it's funny because, so you can set up, the Waze has these voices that come in and out, but one of the temporary ones is Cookie Monster. And so I did a little segment on it on my Instagram and for TV. And then I kept it in my car as the voice. And it's the
great.
More you listen to it, it says some funny things, right?
It's hilarious. He's like, nom, 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 nom.
And it's like C is for, it says like, police reported up ahead. C is for caution. It's also for cookie. Nom, 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 nom. I mean,
I haven't heard that. We haven't gotten that one yet, but.
Yeah, you got to keep listening. He does a lot. It's pretty funny, actually. Like, it's like a slow burn. The more you listen, the more
great, and for people who are doing road trips and they have kids, I highly recommend switching it. You just got to go into the settings and change the audio. I remember Schwarzenegger had it once for a while, and I did that.
Oh yeah, Schwarzenegger is a good one. I'll be back. I've got terrible impressions, by the way.
My wife, actually, I didn't realize until this car ride down, is really good at Muppet impressions. I was like, what? Elmo, Cookie Monster.
Isn't that funny when you realize something about the person that you've been with for a long time, that you discover this new aspect of them that you didn't know? Like, there's just so many. Yeah, there's just a lot of little things like that happen.
That's right. That's why you got to wait a while to get married.
Yes. Well, this relationship advice brought to you by Johnny Jett.
Yeah, and speaking of life advice, by the way, I always recommend people go on their honeymoon before they get married, because I've met people who've traveled, who actually waited to travel with someone until after they got married, and it was a whole different story. That marriage didn't last long. So that's actually how I knew my wife was the one, because we went to 65 countries together as a couple, and I was like, she's amazing. And you got to make sure you're compatible, especially when things get tough when you're on the road.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. When we have taken vacations with couple friends, with like kids and stuff, and you quickly realize that like, gosh, we love this couple normally. On a trip, no way. It does not work out. Like, their kids stay up late, or they don't, they sleep in till noon, and you want to get on the road like early to like go sightseeing. I mean, you got to check that compatibility immediately.
Without a doubt. So, a lot of hotels charge resort fees, which is one of my biggest pet peeves. And, I meant to mention it last week. I don't think we did talk about it, but correct me if we did. But I was in Fort Lauderdale a couple of weeks ago, and the hotel, I checked in at 10 o'clock at night, left at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they charged me a $44 resort fee.
Well, you got a free newspaper.
Yeah.
What about all the long-distance calls you made?
Yeah, no kidding. So we did talk about this, but did I talk about the website Resort Fee Checker?
No, we did not talk about it. I was just kidding.
Okay. Oh, well then, I did an interview like this with someone else, and I'm having like deja vu because they said the exact same thing.
Oh, you're telling me I'm not unique.
Well, no, you're good is what I'm telling you.
Oh,
Actually, it
that's
might
funny.
have been Leo, but I didn't talk about the resortfeechecker.com website.
Resortfeechecker.com.
So it has all the resort fees from all over the country, which for the most part, it's Las Vegas, it's Hawaii, it's Fort Lauderdale. It's where a lot of people vacation. But now they're starting to pop up in cities like New York City, Chicago as urban city fees, which drives me nuts. I think it's such a ripoff. But especially if you're checking in late at night and leaving in the morning as a business traveler.
Oh yeah.
And I went to the manager and I tried to get them to waive it. They would not waive it. So I was like, I'm going to destroy you online.
Oh wow.
And so
don't get Johnny Jet mad. Names. What was the hotel?
That was the Fort Lauderdale Westin.
Ugh. But here's the thing. You can't get around it. You cannot get around it. I love this website, by the way. This is fantastic because...
It's real basic, but it lists important information.
And resort fees are just... It's one of those things that you never really see it spelled out unless you really look for it on the website. And it's kind of grouped in at the end when you see your total. It's like tax, all this other stuff. And then it's like, resort fee, and you got to look and see. So I just looked at the hotel that I'm kind of checking out in Hawaii. And, $40 a day. So that's here's the thing, and this is I think why resort fees work is because people are on vacation, they see it as part of the trip, they've saved up for this vacation, and they're just like, all right, this is part of doing business. But I get it when you stay that one night and your room is a certain amount, especially in Vegas, you could stay for $50 a night and your resort fee is $40, and then it's like it's very clear how ridiculous this is.
They charge like $18 a night or something, or $28 a night, and then the resort fee is much more.
Does this website it should have a list of the all-time highest?
I think it does.
Okay.
I think it does.
Because
I was playing around with it last week.
So check this. What's your advice? I mean, what do you do? Do you not?
Well, I mean, the best advice is to book hotels that do not have it. But it's getting harder and harder. You can, but especially in Vegas, it's like it's not going to be a great hotel. It's not going to be one of the major ones. So that's number one. You got to pay with your. You got to vote with your pocketbook, basically. You stay away from those places. But also, you can always try and speak to a manager if it's something short. Like with me, I was really shocked that they did not waive it because I had a legitimate case.
Yeah.
And also, I do think the future of these resort fees are going away because there's a lot of legislation lately that are really starting to put to bring them mostly to the public's knowledge and make sure that they know how to fight it. And you can write your Congress people. I know it's the pain to do it, but I think this website actually lists who you can call and write to try and get that done. But I'm hoping that in the future they will have to disclose all this information. And, one of my biggest problems was when I checked into this hotel, they didn't tell me, and I didn't book the room. A client booked the room.
Right.
And that was one of my big beefs. It was like, no one even told me when I checked in. And I knew the client would end up paying for it. It was just the principle that they're going to charge me $44 for 12 hours or 14 hours during the nighttime when I'm working and sleeping.
And it really, at the end of the day, it's really so that when you do these comparison sites and you're looking at a whole bunch of hotels, they all seem like they're the same price, but you're forgetting about, it's just like the airlines. You forget about all the baggage fees and all that other stuff. It's not mixed in. That's the real issue here.
But when I book last minute rooms in let's say New York City, I use Hotel Tonight. And before I hit accept, I always make sure and read the fine print because they do list it, but you have to scroll down to find it. And if they charge a resort fee or urban city fee or whatever they want to call it, I do not stay there.
They're gone. All right, Johnny Jet, thanks so much for joining us today. Johnny Jet on Instagram, follow his travels. Resortfeechecker.com is the website. I'm Rich DeMuro. We're going to have more of your calls at 8888 Ask Leo after this. Welcome back to The Tech Guy. I'm Rich DeMuro, sitting in today for Leo Laporte, who is on vacation. He's having fun, but so are we. Let's see, who do we have here? We've got Bill in Los Angeles. Bill, you're on with Rich.
Hey, good morning, Rich. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon. I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, but I need your help. I'm in a big mess here.
Uh-oh.
I've got about 10 years ago, I started 2 online business sites, and I went with a company. I know nothing about computers, very illiterate when it comes to this, so I just went with a company back east that said they'd get the sites for me, purchase the sites, host the sites. and that was about 10 years ago. They've been pretty iffy through the years. They'll disappear for a month, two at a time. But now for about 6 months ago, I received an email from the guy that runs this business. It's just himself. And he said, I was in a horrible car accident, so I haven't been around for the last 3-4 months. And since then, now I've been emailing and calling and just trying to get in touch with him. And he's either passed away or he's closed the business. And I'm kind of a hostage. I don't have any information about these sites, but I've got to keep them going. And he basically controls them. I'm wondering, is there any way I can get these sites back, or what do I do?
That's really tricky. So you don't have, these are websites you're talking about?
Yes, two of my websites. I own the name, and I've got trademarks on them, and like I say, they're my business. I sell products, but I don't. Other than that, I have no information about them. He set them up. He's been running them, and he won't respond. And he could just, run away or close them, and I lose the name. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Well, it sounds like you have a decent relationship with the guy who runs this, right? It sounds like you haven't had a problem in the past.
No, he has. He'll disappear for a couple months at a time, then come back and say, sorry, I left or whatever. But now he's gone. 6 months ago, he wrote a letter saying, I've been in an accident. I'm not sure what's going to happen. And that was it. Now there's no way to communicate with him. He doesn't respond to emails. He doesn't.
And how are you? Is this your business? These are companies that you have income generating?
Yeah. So I'm asked any day they could, I guess he could stop, and I'm still getting a bill, but I don't know that the sites are going to close, or if and I'm afraid they will. 'Cause I did lose one site. I had 3 businesses, and one of them just I lost the name.
Okay, so now
there's no way to communicate with
him. That's really that's tricky. And there's no way. So you've emailed him, and he just doesn't call back.
Yeah, and even went to the Better Business Bureau where he lives, and there's like a dozen people saying, what's happened to this guy or this company? He's gone. He won't answer anything. And I've gone to some other companies saying, yeah, can you host or run my site? They're like, sure, but you got to give us all the info.
Right.
And there's no way for me to find that. And he might have honestly passed away. I don't know. And it's just himself.
Oh my gosh. Well, so that's my kind of first question is, so every website, there's a couple aspects to this. So he built the websites for you and he hosts them using whatever hosting service that he uses, and you kind of just tell him what you want done, right?
Yes.
And so every website has to be registered. A domain has to be registered. That's sort of where it starts. Did you register those domains or did he?
He did.
So you told him, you said, hey, these are the domains I want, and he went and did everything.
Yeah. He registered and he said, okay, these are your sites. I actually had a couple other people build the sites and just send him all the info. And again, that was about 10 years ago, and I have zip information.
And so you don't have any access to these websites. You can't see the domain information.
Nope, not at all.
So what are you going to do? What are you going to do with these, with your businesses in the meantime?
I don't know. The 2 of them are still up and running. So, but I know that the registration is due and the whatever is due, but I don't know that they're going to stop. I think they'll probably just end up. One of them was down for about 6 months when he went away somewhere, and then he finally came back and said, "I'm sorry, I was in a car wreck." But now this has been over 6 months ago. So if it goes down again, I don't know what to do. That's what I mean. I don't know anything about this, and I don't know how to keep my business going if he's disappeared and if he's gone.
Okay. When you look up, have you heard of doing something called like a whois? Like when you look up the domain of this website online, like to see who owns it and who runs it, can you look? Have you tried looking that up?
No, I don't know anything about that. So
all right.
I called you. Thank you. Whois?
Yeah. So go on Google and look up whois, and this allows you to look up where a website is registered to, and you pop in your domain name. So whatever it is, let's say it's yahoo.com. You type that in, and it will tell you who physically owns that site, and it will give you the information for the owner. Now, when you look this up, it may be yourself. If it's yourself, that's actually pretty good. If it's him, that's bad. But it might be a third-party registrar, and you might be able to contact them and say, hey, these are my sites. This is my stuff. Can we get this in my name and get it in my registration that I can control? And it might take a little bit, but, this is what you're up against. But is this person local?
No, he's back in Michigan, I think, or Baltimore, actually, back in Baltimore.
And how did you find them originally?
You know what? I think I don't know if I was searching, if I was just trying to find someone to host, or it could have been whoever was building my site had heard of them. And it's he has a company's name, but I found out that it's just himself running this company.
Right, which is fine. I mean, a lot of people run small businesses. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's a matter of how he has dealt with the transition to nothing.
Exactly, and I think he's just disappeared. I really do think he's just disappeared. And then I've called other companies, these big companies, that say we can run your sites for you, or we can host your sites. And I email them, and they say, yeah, your sites are being hosted by the name of this company.
Okay.
And then I say, I know, but I need to get them. And they're like, well, we can't do anything because you don't have the information. And I don't want to lose these two sites. One of them, like I say, he just let it drop, and I lost the name of it, and there's no way to get that back. So these are two businesses that I live on that are doing well. And if for some reason, it comes to that point where he's not paying again or doing whatever he does, I mean, there's no way for me to get into them or keep them. So it's just real frustrating.
Yeah, that's got to be stressful too. To wonder. It's like a ticking. Yeah, it's like a ticking time clock that's just sitting there. Like you have no idea when these things might not work.
Right.
So the website, I said the Whois, so I would go to whois.net. You can try that. There's a lot of them that lets you look this up. But otherwise, I would try maybe also contacting one of these other people that says, hey, can we do this for you? And putting them on it and see if maybe they can get to the bottom of it. Maybe if they contact this person, maybe he'll get back in touch with them. Maybe he has something against you. I don't know.
No, I tried that, honestly, and thanks for your help. But I actually did that. Two of the companies that they said, oh, these are great. They'll host. They'll get your website. Both of them said, we've left messages. We've called. We've contacted. We've done everything. There's no response. Basically, your sites are gone. Because they said, we can't get any information. We can't hack into a system, or there's no way for them to get whatever they need in order to get my sites back.
Yeah, I mean, you may have to enlist the help of an expert that tracks this down, and it might come down to a legal thing where you have to get these sites back from this person who has registered them. But I would definitely, Bill, check out the Whois, start with that, and see where the site is actually registered to, and that might give you some clues to start with to at least begin this process of trying to reclaim the sites that you own, which I get is totally frustrating. All right, thanks for the call. We'll have more of your calls at 8888 Ask Leo. You are listening to the Tech Guy Radio Show, and just thinking about the last caller, little lesson that is probably a good idea is if you own a business, register the domain name yourself. And the first step to having a website is registering a domain name. Do it yourself. If you aren't sure how to do that, get someone that you know and you trust to help you do that. And you can register the domain yourself and still have another company build your website and manage your website. You'll just have to share some of that information with them. But at the end of the day, you won't have a situation where you run into that if that company that's helping you goes out of business, you have no control of that website. Or ask the company that you got help from to share that data with you. I'm Rich DeMuro in for Leo Laporte today. You are listening to The Tech Guy. We're going to have more of your calls after this at 8888 Ask Leo. Got a tech question? Give me a call. We'll have more of them right after this.
We'll get back to Rich DeMuro in just a second, but I'm gonna make an educated guess. I've never asked Rich this, but I bet you anything he uses Plex. Anytime I talk, in fact, even to our audience, anytime I talk to people who are into tech, who love media, and I ask them, they say, Plex, of course, Plex. Plex brings together all the media that matters to you. One app, one server. It's available on any device, no matter where you are. I mean, literally Apple TV, Roku, Android, iOS, Amazon Fire TV, Windows, PC. And when I travel, I love taking my movies with me, my TV shows with me with Plex. I can go stream them online. I can also, because I have the Plex Pass, I can download those, which is nice, and watch them offline. That's the Plex Pass. Plex lets you organize and stream for free your personal collection of movies, TV shows, music. You can have podcasts on there. Web series, you can get news on there now. I mean, it's just getting better and better all the time. Give your media the royal treatment it deserves with the Plex Pass and premium features that bring out the best in media no matter what you like. With a Plex Pass, an antenna and a tuner, for instance, stop paying for cable. You've got the best DVR in the world. Great TV, record free HD broadcast channels right to your library. Just made for this. You also, as I mentioned, you get offline accessibility with mobile sync, so I can get all the latest stuff when I'm online, and then I have it for the plane or the boat. Premium music, you can enjoy premium music features, including lyrics, custom curated playlists based on your music preferences, premium photos. It's all my photos get uploaded, of course, because Plex creates beautiful photo albums that I can customize and share. And of course, my movie collection. You just drop movies and TV shows in there. Plex automatically organizes them, downloads trailers, cast interviews, behind-the-scene features, the box art and everything. It looks so nice. Frankly, nicer than a lot of paid services. And if you've got multiple users, it's really easy for everybody in your house to have an account. Everybody you know to have an account. It's so great, even the kids. And with parental controls, you can make sure the kids only see the things you want them to see. You got to get Plex Pass, and you got to get the Plex Pass perks, exclusive access to promos and discounts and partner products. It pays for itself, honestly. You also get to use the new features before anyone else does. Are you ready for Plex Pass? They've got features like loudness leveling, sweet fades, timeline view, advanced audio features. Get your Plex Pass. In fact, right now, Plex is offering you $10 off the lifetime Plex Pass subscription. You have to be a new subscriber. But go to plex.tv/twit and use the code TWIT10. That's plex.tv/twit. The code is TWIT10. You get a discount on the Plex Pass. You're going to want it. You're going to want it. I paid for the lifetime thing immediately. Once I saw what I could do, I said, this is it. I've got it. Plex, baby. Plex. Now back to Rich DeMuro. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Leo. And to answer your question, I do use Plex. Very familiar with Plex. And so I know a lot of people that love Plex. I actually have it set up on my server at home. Yeah, I got a server. That's what us nerds do. That's how we roll. Servers at home. But it's a great thing to have. Welcome back to The Tech Guy, the show that talks about everything from smartphones to computers, wearables, smart speakers, internet, home theater, anything else that's smart, we'll talk about it. My name is Rich DeMuro, tech reporter at KTLA Channel 5 in Los Angeles, filling in today for Leo Laporte, who is on vacation. Thanks for joining me. Hour number 3, just about to kick off. If you want to know more about me, you can check out my website. It's richontech.tv. In fact, it's kind of what I go by on TV. If you catch me on your local station, usually it's Rich on Tech. We got lots of good stuff to talk about in this third hour. We're going to have some guests as well, more questions. But something that I thought was cool, we did a story on this week on KTLA. So where I live in Los Angeles, we've just been having lots and lots of wildfires. And, you know, obviously we have the threat of earthquakes, and all these things make you think about the fact that it's great when you have cell phone coverage, right? And most of the time you do. You've got cell phone, you've got Wi-Fi, but there are times when that can go out, that can go down. When I went hiking, I was hiking in Arizona a couple months ago with my little brother, and, you know, you get, I don't know, an hour into the woods and boom, there goes your signal for the rest of the day. And so I found this thing called the Sat Pack, and we did a story on it, and it's just so cool. It's basically a tiny satellite for your smartphone. And that's exactly what it is. It's a satellite that you attach to your smartphone. And what it does is it lets you send texts with no signal. So even if you don't have a cell phone signal, this little device will send your texts. Now, it's not the text that you're normally sending, like, you know, iMessage or through your regular phone number. It uses its own app, and it bypasses the cell signal on your phone. It sends your message up 22,000 miles in the air. Doesn't that sound crazy to think that it's going up 22,000 miles? I had to think about it. I was like, wait, was that feet or miles? No, it's miles. These satellites are pretty far up there. And then it comes back down to your friend's phone or whoever for emergencies and stuff like that. And I tried it. We had the people from SatPack come to LA, company named Higher Ground. And by the way, it's SatPAQ, SatPack-Q. It works with Android or iOS. We connected it to an Android phone, and you open up their little app, and you type in a text, and boom, it arrived to my phone less than 7 seconds later. And I just thought this was the coolest thing because it just makes so much sense. And so I'll tell you, personally, when we had the fires, my in-laws were in the area that was very much affected. And guess what? We couldn't get in touch with them for I think it was 2 days without coverage because all the cell phone towers went down. There was no electricity, no internet, no Wi-Fi. They actually stayed at their house. They shouldn't have, but they did. And my wife, of course, freaking out because she can't get in touch with her parents. And if they would have had this, it would have all been fine. It would have been, hey, we're okay. At least we know. We had no idea. And so it's one of these technologies that you hear about and you just say, wow, shouldn't everyone have this? And the reason why everyone does not have it is because it's expensive. It's $250 for the device, and then you got to pay for the texts. And the texts are about 30 cents each. But the way they do it, you buy a package of texts. So, you buy a bunch of texts for, $100 or $50, and they last kind of indefinitely as long as you use this thing once a year. So you're talking minimum investment, at least $250, $300, including some texts. But the reality is, if you had this thing in your bag, then you would be able to be connected at all times. As long as you can see the southern sky, you can be connected. It's kind of like DirecTV or Dish Network. They have a couple satellites and it covers all of the U.S. at once, whereas cellular covers a swath at once and you need a lot of antennas. And then when you think about Wi-Fi, it's even a tinier area and you need a whole bunch of Wi-Fi hotspots. But with satellite, you just put the satellite up in space and it covers everything all at once, which is pretty amazing. So again, $250, battery lasts about 4 months. And I just think this is the coolest thing. Again, it connects to your phone. So it doesn't plug in, it connects via Bluetooth. And as long as your phone supports Bluetooth, you've got Android or iOS, you can have coverage anywhere you want. It's great for hikers. The people who created this thing created it with hikers in mind because they were hikers, but they realized that this is just for a lot of people. So I love this thing. SatPack, if you want to check it out, you can check out the story on my website, richontech.tv. But I just think that kind of technology is just so amazing, and I hope that it's built into smartphones, everyone's smartphone in the future. Come on, Apple. You listening? Jeff is in Knoxville, Tennessee. You're on with Rich.
Rich, I've got some frustration with a major phone. Cell phone.
No. I hear it in your voice, Jeff. What's going on?
Can I name the company?
Sure, you can name names.
Okay. I watched a T-Mobile television ad several times and couldn't believe it. So I called a couple of the local stores and they verified it. Their clerks there didn't, but then I got a hold of the managers and they did. And it was the T-Mobile 55 program, as long as you're over 55. Well, I'm significantly over 55. And I had Straight Talk through Walmart. I bought a cell phone, and then I also bought their unlimited additional phone, and was using let me go to the T-Mobile.
Let's hear what's going on here. Let's try to solve your frustrations.
T-Mobile, they said that I could get 2 phones for a total of $55. The store managers verified that. So I bought the program, and I got 2 brand new phones, Samsung 10AE or whatever it is, and they seem to be okay. But right after I bought it, I got a bill for an additional $100. And so I called the store back, and the manager has not returned my call, and that's been over 2 weeks.
So what did they promise you, and what did you get?
They promised me unlimited talk, text, data, and 30 gigs of hotspot.
For how much?
$55.
And just one person, just you?
Yeah,
okay.
I've got 2 lines.
And then what's the $100?
Well, they haven't been able to explain that, except they said, we didn't mean $55 total. But they're saying that now. That isn't what they said. When I went to the store and turned in my other phones and got the 55, and the store manager went and transferred everything from my other phones to the new Samsung phones. And I'm getting billed, so I called. They've got their tech operation is down in Texas when the home office is up in Washington. So I called down there, and they're very nice and that stuff. They said, well, they'd give me a $50 credit. But that doesn't make any sense, because right after that, the next month, it's another $100. So where I was supposed to get $55, now it's going to cost me over $100.
Yeah, it sounds like they did not put something in the system properly. Hang on just a second. Jeff on the line in Knoxville. We got a frustrated Jeff. Jeff, can you hang on until after the break? We're going to talk more about your T-Mobile frustrations.
Definitely.
He was promised one thing. He's getting another. Charges that he didn't sign up for. You are listening to the Tech Guy Radio Show. We'll have Jeff and more of your calls after this at 8888 Ask Leo.
You're out.
All right, Jeff, we're just off air real quick. But so what? Okay, so they promised you, I'm trying to understand. So every month you're getting an extra $55?
Well, I've only had it a month, but they gave me a $50 credit. But so now I've got $23 due immediately, and then it's going to go back to where I've got 55 and 55. Now they're saying they didn't mean it the way it was, and they've withdrawn the ad from the TV. I don't know if they did it nationally or just locally.
And what is it labeled? What's the extra $55 labeled as on your bill?
Well, I haven't gotten a bill yet. They just told me about it. See, I haven't even had it a month yet.
Oh, you haven't had it a month?
No.
Oh, well.
They told me, and they billed me via a text message that I owed them another $100.
Oh, they said, like, here's how much you owe already. Like, here's your bill. This is what it's going to look like.
And I got one just 2 days ago. Said by the 23rd of this month, I'm going to pay them another $23. But they gave me a $50 credit. Now, I'm significantly over the 55 age limit. I'm 22 years past that.
Well, they should be giving you the phone for free.
Absolutely, they should.
Look, if you only have to be 55, you got 20 more years. Shouldn't it go down after that to $20?
That's what I'm thinking, but
I don't think it works that way. But it'd be nice.
It doesn't.
Okay, so I think let's see. I think the main thing is you got to figure out what this extra charge is. And I'm looking at this, so you're not doing auto pay because their Magenta plus 55 unlimited is.
That's what I've got is Magenta. However, I'm not doing auto pay. What I do is I pay in advance so I can avoid that extra $10 for a phone.
Right. And so they gave you the phone. Did they? And how long ago is this exactly? Like less than 30 days, you said?
Oh yeah, less than 30 days. Yeah.
I'm wondering what the return policy is.
Well, they say they have no contract.
Right. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that because they gave you that phone for free. Basically means that they are okay. You have 14 days to return. Has it been 14 days?
Yes, it has.
It has. Okay. All right. Well, I think
they have no contract. They said they have no contract, and the store manager told me the phones were free.
Well, yes, but we can talk about this on the radio, but usually, I'll tell you this. Usually, when things are free, what they do is they take the price. I'll talk to you on the radio in a couple minutes, okay? And we'll just get this. Okay, hang on.
Okay.
Rich DeMuro back with you here on The Tech Guy. We're talking technology. We've got a frustrated caller on the line. Jeff is in Knoxville. He signed up for one thing through T-Mobile, and apparently he's getting another, and he's not happy about it. Jeff, you back with me here?
Absolutely. And
okay.
You're right. I'm definitely not happy.
No. And so, I mean, here's the thing. This happens all the time. You see these ads, you see what's advertised, and then what happens when you get the bill, it's totally different. And you are not the only person that this happens to. This happens to me. It happens to a lot of people that are listening. And that's how these companies, I mean, I'm not saying T-Mobile is trying to do this, but the reality is in any deal, there's fine print. You know that, right?
Yes.
So in this deal, it sounds like you were promised a plan for $55 a month. They gave you a phone, and now it looks like you may be paying a installment on this phone. Does that sound about right?
I never considered that there was an installment because it was not told that way. And incidentally, it wasn't just one phone. I got 2 phones, 2 lines, unlimited talk, text, data, and 30 gigs hotspot per phone.
Oh, you got two lines. So maybe the $55 is for the second line.
But they said it was two for $55 total.
Oh, now that I think is okay. See, here's what I think happened to you. I think, and let me just explain the whole thing with free phones, by the way. So at this point, there's really no such thing as a free phone. When you see a free phone advertised at a company, a lot of times what they're doing is they're prorating the price of that phone over 24 months and then giving you that phone as a credit on your bill over those next 24 months. So let's just say the credit is $33 a month for the phone. Let's say you decide, because there's no contracts anymore, right? It sounds so great. There's no contracts. I can leave at any time. You can leave at any time, but guess what? You forfeit those credits, which means the price of that phone, whatever's remaining, you now owe to whatever that company is. And that is how they get you with these free phones that you see advertised. So it's always, what's the old saying, Jeff? If something's too good to be true.
Yep, it isn't true. Yes, you're right.
So do you feel like you were taken in this circumstance by a smooth-talking salesperson?
You're very, very taken. And see, I talked with two different store managers for T-Mobile. Now, their clerks, their salespeople on the counters didn't know anything about it. I had to go to both stores' managers, and they verified that it was two phones, two lines, for $55 total.
Now, I'm looking at their website, and $27.50 times 2 is $55. So on their website, I can confirm that they do have a limited time offer that says 2 lines with auto pay for people 55 and up is $27.50 a line, $55 a month. Now, that explains the 2 lines you got, but you also have these 2 phones. So I'm trying to figure out if this extra fee is part of the phones. Now, when you get a phone line activated, they do charge you $35 for that activation. Did they mention that?
No, they didn't mention it at the time I was in there talking with the store manager. Did not mention any of that. That's part of what they said when I called their tech support line. And I said, how come I wasn't told that at the time that I bought this? And I did not go to their auto pay because I said I'll pay in advance each month so you don't have to do that. And they said I could do that and still get the Magenta program.
So what's your plan? Are you happy with T-Mobile? Do you want to keep them? Do you want to work this out, or do you want to just give this whole thing up?
I'm really not happy with it, but I'm having a difficult time with it because I'm a professional Santa Claus, and I'm trying to get bookings on one line. So I just, it's the wrong time of year to have this problem.
Wait, hold on. You're a professional Santa Claus?
That's correct.
Oh, okay. I know you're frustrated, but can I get like a little, like, ho, ho, ho?
Ho, ho, ho!
Oh, Jeff, it pains me to see you in so much anger with this T-Mobile thing because you are a nice guy. You're Santa Claus.
I've only been doing it a short time, about 31 years, and I've got more Santa ensembles than any existing Santa in the whole country. I've got one for I've got a costume or ensemble for all SEC football teams, half of the ACC, and about 7 or 8 of the NFL teams. Plus, I did the opening for Bass Pro Shop locally, and I came out as Camo Claus.
And this is your busy season right now. So the last thing you need is a headache with your phone plan when people are calling to book gigs.
Yeah, the has gotten a little lower than the head, though. Yeah, you're right. It's a pain in the tush.
Oh, man. All right. Well, what are kids asking for this year?
Well, I haven't had any gigs yet. I had one, but it was canceled due to the company. People got sick. I don't know what their problem was, but anyhow, that's another issue.
Oh my gosh! All right, well, listen, Jeff. Like I said, it pains me to see you going through this. I think what you should do is go into the T-Mobile. I think that do you need the 2 lines?
Well, yeah, I have one for my personal business and one for the Santa business.
Okay, got it. All right. I think you go into T-Mobile. I mean, are you willing to wear the Santa suit there or not?
Oh, which one do you want me to wear?
Well, do you have a pink one? Because that's their colors.
As a matter of fact, I have one white with curly pink fur that I use when I go visit cancer patients.
Oh.
And I've got one purple with orange fur for Alzheimer's. I was thinking about doing that white with the pink fur.
You're such a good person that I can't imagine that T-Mobile would have sweet-talked you into something that you're not needing. I think you need to go into T-Mobile, maybe wear the suit, and I think just keep calm, and talk to the manager and say, look, I feel like I was sold one thing and my bill feels like another. But the other thing is, wait until you get that first bill and just see what all the charges are, see what it all shakes down to, and maybe there are some promotions or things that have not gone into effect, and that's what's affecting these texts that you're getting with these amounts.
Well, I talked to the supervisor down in Texas. Obviously, I'm not anywhere close to that. It's a state with another T, but it's not Texas. And I said I could probably get together a bag of reindeer poop and put on you.
That's what Santa does, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think T-Mobile is a good company. I think they want to work with you, and I think that they're going to want to make this right, especially for Santa, especially during the holiday season, and especially as the things are going to start ramping up. Hang on the line. I'm going to get your email. I'm going to personally see to it that we get this figured out for you, and make sure that we have a merry and bright holiday.
Thank you, Rich.
All right, can you let us out with a little ho, ho, ho? You're listening to The Tech Guy?
Ho, ho, ho. Santa's got to go, go, go.
You are listening to The Tech Guy radio show. Rich DeMuro here in for Leo Laporte. Wow. More of your calls. Can you top that call? 1-8888-ASK-LEO, 1-888-827-5536. I just cannot imagine Santa getting a raw deal on a smartphone plan. And by the way, do you know I used to sell smartphones? Back in the day, one of my first jobs was selling phones. They weren't smart. They were flip phones at a office supply store. And I'll never forget, we had these problems all the time. We'd sell them a phone for a penny, and they'd come in when they got their first bill because it was several $100s. And we said, well, you didn't ask about how much the plan is and the prorations and the taxes and the fees, and you went over your minutes. Still happening today. You're listening to The Tech Guy. We'll have more after this. Welcome back to The Tech Guy radio show. Rich DeMuro sitting in for Leo Laporte, who is on vacation today. You can find me on Twitter at Rich DeMuro. You'll find me tweeting every once in a while. Jeff is in Thunder Bay, Canada. Jeff, you're on with Rich. What's on your mind?
Hey, Rich, how are you today?
Now,
I'm good.
Full disclosure, are you Santa? Are you an elf? I just want to be sure before we begin things here.
Is that I have been Santa as well.
Oh, my gosh.
Very cool.
That's amazing. Well, clearly we have a lot of people listening in the North Pole on this show. What's going on today?
You had that fella talking about his domains and possibly losing them, and I felt really bad for him. I had a domain for a company too, and we missed the update date, and so then the
renewal. You mean when it went away?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh.
And then I talked to the register at the time, and they wanted us to pay X amount of dollars for it, and we're like, no, you're asking too much money for it. We'll just wait until it renews, and so then we waited, and I watched, and it went through this whole process and stuff. But before we could buy it back again, it keeps getting bought up by all these other companies,
right?
That are. I call it holding it for ransom.
Oh yeah, that's what's happening to. I've got richontech.tv, and richontech.com is of course what I'd like to have. And every year I sit there on the day it renews trying to see if the person forgets. And nope, they don't forget, but they don't use it.
No, exactly. So when I heard this fella just talking about his company names and maybe he'll lose them and this and that, and I'm like, I just wanted to call in and say, man, I hope I hope when you go to Whose Is, he can find that information and get it, because I'm doing everything possible too, and we're just being held ransom for it now.
It's not the best situation, right? It's not the best. It's not the best setup, because I just want to like email the person that has mine and be like, hey, can I get this? Is it? But then you email them, and what are they going to do? Now they know you want it.
That's right.
So what does that do to the price, right?
That's right. It just drives it up even more. So, to me, it looks like it's just these computer bots that are buying it. Like, do these companies have these bots that go out and just buy these names that expire?
It sure seems that way. Especially, it depends on, if you ever try to register a name, you notice that a lot of the times these new companies, they drop vowels, they add something that kind of like makes sense, but not necessarily, because all the good stuff was taken up many years ago. I remember back in the day when, you can get like regular words. I mean, those are obviously the most valuable. But
right.
People are smart. If you see a trend that's happening and you kind of register that trend, it's a business like anything else. Is it a perfect thing? No, and for yourself, I get that it's kind of tough if you're running a business that you think you should have that domain because it kind of fits what you're doing and you can't get it. What do you do? Yeah. There's not really a person you can talk to.
Yeah. Anyways, I just thought I'd call in when you mentioned Who Is, and I was just feeling that guy's pain. That's for sure.
You're feeling for him. So what are you doing with yours? You still can't get it, huh?
So we bought like .net and .org and those kind of things instead. Or we worked around it that way, but I sure would like the .com back. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, hopefully one day you'll get it, and then you can go back to or get that. You've never had it, huh? Or you had it once?
We had it. Yeah, we had it for multiple years, and then just missed the deadline.
Now, who missed the deadline? Wasn't you, was it?
Well, might have been.
So you have a personal...
I take ownership for that, that's for sure.
Okay, I was going to say, is that person still with the company? Because,
That's right.
But it's your company, so I guess you have no one to blame, huh?
No, I own it. That's
so you can only blame yourself.
That's right. That's right.
That's tough. Well, I hope that one day you get it back. Let's pray to the Who Is gods, and maybe one day they're listening and you'll get back to your website.
I'm with you on that. Hey, thanks a lot, Rich. Thanks for what you do there.
All right, appreciate it, Jeff. Thanks for calling in today. Have a good one. All right, let's see. We've got Rose in Santa Ana. Rose in Santa Ana, you're on with Rich.
Hey, Rich.
Hey.
First of all, I want to say that you work with my son on KTLA, Joe Manganiello.
Oh, I love Joe.
I know, and he loves you too. And I talk to him all the time that I'm listening.
Oh, well, that's
you
great.
On the radio now instead of watching you on the TV.
That's got to be weird.
Well, your voice sounds the same.
That's good. I wish it sounded better, because Leo's got this setup that I thought when you sit in his chair, your voice would just sound like a radio voice. But apparently, I guess you have to be born with that.
Anyway, I just seem to get really ticked off because when everybody says dial this phone number or punch, I want to say, no, you punch in the number, you click on the number, but a dial phone is a rotary phone, and we don't have those anymore.
Oh, well, so what did people say?
And I wanted to know what the term would be.
So you don't dial a number anymore?
No, you dial a number.
You tap.
A dial number is with a rotary phone.
Well, is that what they said when you rotary? You would rotate the number,
yes.
I guess, or select.
You dial the number. You put your finger in the little hole and you twist it around.
It's been a while since we had those days. That's for sure.
Yes, definitely.
So you're saying because we have iPhones and Androids and it's a screen, what would you say? Hey, tap me. No, that doesn't. Oh, that doesn't sound right. You can't say that.
Tap, click.
Tap. Punch me. We don't want to say that.
No, not punch me, but click on.
Click on me? See, it doesn't have the same
Yeah.
ring. It just doesn't sound the same way.
Well, to us older people, dial is only a rotary phone.
Do you still have one of those around the house?
No, I don't.
Oh.
In fact, I have a flip phone, which I'm talking to you on.
Oh, wow.
And I don't care for the smart ones because my fingers have arthritis in it, and when I go to dial something...
But you're not dialing. You just said, Rose, you can't dial.
I'm saying it's funny.
You're tapping. You're tapping a number.
Tapping.
You're tapping. Oh, no. Well, no. Actually, you're pressing because you have a press
Yes,
phone.
there you go.
So you're
I'm
pressing
on the phone.
So you're pressing a number.
Yes.
Well, we're going to get to the bottom of this. I don't know how we're going to solve this dilemma, but Rose, I do appreciate it. It's something to think about, huh?
Yes, definitely. But I wanted to talk to you in person or, on the phone because I wanted to tell you about my son that, he really likes you and I really like you to watch you on TV.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I hope you...
Tell Joe I said hi.
Well, maybe Joe's listening and he's hearing you right now, and he's probably saying to himself, he's scratching his head going, that is true. Mom is right. I don't know if it's dialing or tapping or... What do we do nowadays? I don't know, but we've got touchscreens, so it's all the same. And, to be honest, there's a whole generation of people that don't even remember when you actually pushed a physical button on a phone or even did the rotary phone. We've got Dick DeBartolo coming up next, our Giz Wiz, plus more of your calls in the final segment of the show. Rich DeMuro in for Leo Laporte today. More of your calls at 8888 Ask Leo. After this. Welcome back to The Tech Guy. I was trying to think of other things that we say that don't have the same meaning anymore. Our last caller was talking about dialing a phone. What about when people say, I'm going to film something? We haven't filmed stuff in a long time, but they still say it. That actually gets me kind of annoyed. People say they want to tape something. I mean, when was the last time you taped something? You record something, right? Dick DeBartolo, Mad's Maddest writer, joining me now. Welcome to the show, Dick.
Thank you so much. You're doing a great job there.
Thank you. There's a lot of stuff that changes over the years, Just that's the way it is.
But you know what? If you get used to something, like every time I send a thing into ABC, I say a pre-recording Sunday night. And then I go, no. I used to say pre-taping Sunday night.
Right.
I at least got it down to pre-recording Sunday night.
I know, but pre-recording doesn't have the same. It doesn't tell you what you're doing. Like pre-tape, I get that. You're taping something.
Yeah.
It's pre-recording. I'm like, what do you record? Oh, what does that mean? Yeah, is it
what
audio?
Am I gonna call it? Pre-digitizing?
Yeah, pre-digitizing. That's really what we're doing. You were just at CES Unveiled, huh?
Yeah, CES Unveiled is a fun event in November, and it's where they announce. I often wondered when you get to CES, how do people have plaques saying 2020 award winner? And I go, the show opened an hour ago.
That's what I always wonder.
Yeah, exactly. So they announced the winners at CES Unveiled.
Okay, these are very first world problems, by the way.
Yes, and they also announced things that they love that report is sort of grown at. Like this year, there'll be 6,000 registered media, gadgets from 120 countries, 4,500 companies displaying gadgets, and do you know how many miles we have to walk?
75,000 germs on every turn.
On every surface.
Yes. Bring your sanitizer.
Yeah, exactly. And then they have exhibits there. And I thought one of the most fascinating is a company called Heart Hero. Now, this gadget exists, but the guy said, Dick, by the time we get all the approvals, it may not be in the marketplace for a year. So it is a portable, automated, external defibrillator for the home.
Wow.
So I was talking to the guy, and he said almost 70% of all heart attacks take place in the home or at a party or a place where there is no defibrillator.
Steakhouse.
So, yeah, several doctors got together, including a guy from the CIA who travels in third world countries and up mountains. And he thought, if we had a defibrillator, and this little guy is just about 6 inches by 6 inches by 1.5 inches high and weighs a little more than a pound. So the place is hearthero.com, and you can read about it there. And I said, will it look like that? And the guy said, this is it. It's already made. This would work. This is a working model. He said, but it's going to be getting all the approvals for this to happen. But I thought it's a great idea that if you could have one in every home.
Did they talk about price at all?
Yes, I asked. He said the typical defibrillator on the cheap side now is about $1,600. We want to come in at $800 or under.
Okay.
So if you have a family, you'll certainly jump in on this.
Well, and like any other technology, it will come down over time. I mean, look at what they've done. They've built, you see these now installed in a lot of places, public places that you never saw them before. And so now if we can get them in homes, just imagine the amount of lives you would save with this thing.
No, exactly, because minutes count, and it also pairs with your phone. And so when you start using it, it instantly calls the emergency room to get an ambulance there.
Oh, wow.
Hoping,
That's a great idea.
It's very sophisticated.
So you like this. You saw it, and they had a working model.
They had a working. Did not try it on me. The guy said the whole idea is people are afraid. They think this has got a high charge in there. He said this if it's going to help the person, it'll send the electric through his body. If it's not going to help the person, it does nothing, and it can shock you.
Love it. Go to the website.
Yeah.
Gizwizbiz. Gizwiz.biz. Do you have a challenge this week?
The What Heck Is It game is up there for 2 months. So you just click on the What Heck Is It. Guess what it is? It's a real item. But typical of Mad Magazine, we give 6 Mads for the right answer, but 12 Mads for stupid, dumb, clever answers.
And it's
a mad way of rewarding people.
It's the gadget that I say looks like one of those things that they measure the fat on someone. But I don't know. I still haven't figured it out. It looks like it expands, but I'm not sure.
Okay, it's a good guess.
And you've got your show coming up later on Twit.
We do. The unofficial Giz Fizz with chat room fun.
All right, Dick DeBartolo, thanks for joining me today. CES Unveiled. I will see you at the real CES in Las Vegas when we're joined by 150,000 other people.
A lot. I'll see you there, buddy. Take care.
Right. Michael is in Temecula. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Simple question for you. A friend of mine, unfortunately, just died on Tuesday, believe it or not, of a massive heart attack.
Oh, gosh.
Right after what we were just talking about, or what you guys were just talking about. Anyway, his phone is locked, and his wife obviously would like to get into his contacts and that kind of stuff. It's a Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. What's going to be our luck? What if we took the SIM card out and put it into a similar phone?
No. Well, first off, sorry for your loss and your friend's loss. That's
thank you. But my understanding is when you lock a phone like that, you lock it on the SIM card as well. Is that correct?
No, the SIM really doesn't have anything to do with it. It's really what kind of lock screen? Is it a lock screen password, like a code or something?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Sorry. Is it, and there's stuff that the wife wants to retrieve on it?
Absolutely.
Well,
I'm sure it's nothing important, mostly just like his contacts and that kind of stuff,
Probably just wants that connection back.
And, to let people know.
Yeah. Oh, I would say, probably just kind of don't worry about this grieve a little bit. Don't worry about this happening right now. And when you revisit it, maybe in, a month or two after you've had time to or she's had time to heal and you've had time to process this, and this stuff's not going away anytime soon, I would, there's really not an easy way to do it. That's the tough part, but you can try some of the passwords that you think he might have used, like date of births and stuff like that. Maybe the, anniversary dates, stuff like that. Otherwise, you might be able to get into his Google account if you have any of that information. But here's the bigger thing is, and I do this with my wife, you got to have a document that has all this information in it so that if something were to happen to you, your loved ones are not sitting there trying to get into your stuff. Maybe you don't want them to, and that's a whole nother thing. But I think that having a document and having a plan before something like this happens, and I know it was unexpected, but it's the kind of thing that you don't really want to think about, you don't really want to have, because once you write it down, you're kind of like jinxing yourself. I get it, but just do it. It'll really help your family when you have this stuff written down, and so they can access your stuff if they need to. That's my advice, but that's what I try to do. All right, that's going to bring us to the end of the show. Can you believe it? Wow. It's been a great show. I want to say thanks to everyone here that has helped me sit in Leo's chair. Thanks, Leo, Lisa, Laura, Colleen, Kim, John, Jeff, Robin. So many folks. You think it's just me sitting here. There's a whole team of people out there that are helping out get this Tech Guy show on the air. I'll be back with you tomorrow. My name is Rich DeMuro, tech reporter at KTLA Channel 5 in Los Angeles. Check me out online. Find me on Instagram at RichOnTech. I'll see you there. And I will see you next time on The Tech Guy. Thanks so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guy show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.